So in the next unit, we will be seeing climate, vegetation and soil. Whenever I am talking about these three topics, I have already covered climate and I have also showed you vegetation, but I have told you in detail we will be seeing, and we will be also covering soils, right? But now what is more important for us here is climate. When we are talking, whatever you have read in the 9th standard NCERT book is just basics. Every line from this particular book becomes important for you. So please try to understand every line again so that it makes sense for you, and every paragraph can be a question either in prelims or in mains. You need to remember every word. That is the importance or significance of geography NCERT books. So let's quickly begin with Indian climate. As you're all aware, in India, in different seasons, we see different type of climate, and within India, in different areas, we see different type of climates. For example, if I say summer in Kerala and Tamil Nadu is completely different from summer in North India. It will be extremely hot in North India, but in South, it will be extremely normal, or it will be same throughout the year. And when it comes to cool climate or winter, you will usually see that in Delhi, it will be very cool, but in southern part, because of the peninsula, it will be hot or normal again. So here what exactly are we saying? We are trying to say here that whatever you look when it comes to climate, whether it is within India or same place in different times, you usually see different type of climate. And we know that there is difference between weather and climate, where in the beginning itself we need to understand that weather is just momentary state of atmosphere, whereas climate refers to weather conditions over longer period of time. Weather change is quick. Maybe within a day it may keep changing. Morning it may be very hot, in the night it may rain heavily. Whereas if you look at climate, it takes some 50-60 years to change. So here we are talking about weather change and climate change as well. And you should be aware about India being considered as monsoon, mausam, which means reversal of winds, correct? And then I have already told you India and ASEAN countries, that is South and Southeast Asia, actually have same type of monsoonal climate. And I differentiated it with Chinese monsoon type, where I called it as temperate monsoon, and India's is actually called as hot monsoonal type of climate. Now when I talk about the unity and diversity, at last in that chapter, I spoke about monsoon as a unifying factor. Here we need to see unity, but we also have to see the diversity as well. First important thing this chapter talks about diversity is with respect to temperature diversity in different parts of India. For example, they take the case of cold desert in Ladakh and hot desert in Rajasthan. And even though Agra and Darjeeling are on the same latitude, you usually observe that Darjeeling is much cooler when compared to Agra, because Darjeeling elevation is high. So if you go with altitude, you know that in the troposphere temperature decreases, and because of this Darjeeling is much cooler. So even within the same latitude, different places receive different rainfall and they see different temperatures as well. So it's very, very important for us to understand each and every concept. First, whenever you talk about diversity, when it comes to geography, first important thing that you need to talk is with respect to temperature. You have to say how Kanyakumari or Chennai varies with respect to Delhi. And within a day also, if you consider, for example, if you take one particular day, Chennai will not see much variation in temperature within a day. But you take a place in Rajasthan, say Jaipur, In the morning it will be very hot, but in the evening it will be cool. So the temperature variation within a day also varies when it comes to these places. So this is the second important fact that you need to remember. Then the third important thing that you need to see is, one, temperature, different places, same latitude, how it varies, within a day how it varies, in a year how it varies, this you need to see. Next you need to observe about rainfall. Whenever I am talking about rainfall, you are all aware that the western side of Western Ghats receive different rainfall, and when we actually take northeast India, it receives different rainfall, and northwestern part, Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, it receives different rainfall. So why is this difference? Because the rain bearing winds carry rainfall differently in different parts of the country. So that becomes important for you. When you actually consider a place by name Tura, which is situated closer to the Garo hills of Meghalaya, we usually observe that the average rainfall of this place is similar to the rainfall received by Jaisalmer in almost 10 years' time. That means you can understand the impact of rainfall in Meghalaya and the impact of rainfall in Rajasthan. And if you take Rajasthan and Meghalaya, they are both present on the same latitude. So this clearly shows us that even though places are in the same latitude, different areas receive different rainfall. Next, you need to be aware of the rainfall which is usually obtained through southwest trade winds or monsoons. You should also be aware that different parts of India receive rainfall because of the cyclonic disturbances as well. I have already told you that when we talk about the cyclonic disturbances, especially in winter, in the northwestern part of India, we receive excessive rainfall or rainfall because of the westerly winds that blow, or the jet stream whichever blows over this region gives you rainfall. This is what we need to study when it comes to this. Second important point that we need to understand when it comes to this is the cyclones which are actually formed in Bay of Bengal is actually moving towards the east coast or Coromandel coast, where you usually observe heavy rainfall because of this. So if monsoons give rainfall in few regions, different conditions like cyclones give rainfall in other parts. Cyclones are giving rainfall in one season, and in the same season you will see that the other areas are not getting rainfall because they do not experience cyclones. So this variation can be seen in India. Even though all these variations are there, each and every area usually observe reversal of winds. This is what we say, they are unified by monsoonal winds. That is, the winds keep on changing, and whenever they change, we usually observe that with this change, every place experiences some sort of similar conditions. This is the unifying factor we talk about the monsoon. So unifying bond, you have to talk from 9th standard NCERT. Diversity, you have to talk from 11th standard. If you combine together, you can write for 125 words. So guys, these facts are very, very important for us. The next important concept that we need to see is factors determining the climate of India. Whenever I talk about factors, there are different factors which actually determine rainfall, and this is also dependent on the temperature. For example, factors related to location and relief, the location of a place, and also whether it is present, if winds are blowing like this, whether the place is present on the windward side of the mountains or they are present on the leeward side of the mountains. All these things matter a lot, right? So first let us take latitude. We are all aware that Tropic of Cancer passes exactly at the center of India. So the southern part of India actually experiences tropical type of climate, and it has higher temperature because it is closer to equator. And about 23.5, usually we find subtropical region, or we also call it as temperate region, and here as it is away from equator, temperature is usually less. So this is one factor that you need to remember. Second important thing that we need to observe is actually with respect to the Himalayan mountains. As you are all aware about the Himalayas being present from west to east, above this you have Tibet, correct? And you have India. Above Tibet you have Kunlun Shan, and above that you have polar regions as well. So from polar regions, the cold air mass usually blows over India. Whenever they blow, Himalayas actually prevent these snow carrying winds from polar regions to come towards India. So cold breeze or snow breeze in North India is prevented mainly because of the Himalayas. They act as a shelter for us, right? So this is very, very important concept for us, right? And then when we talk about the monsoon as well, as you have Himalayas, so the southwest monsoons go and hit them. They also give enough rainfall to several rivers which originate in that place as well. So it's very, very important for us to understand that Himalayas also trap the monsoon winds, forcing them to shed their moisture within the subcontinent. If Himalayas was not there, then this moisture, rather than falling on the plains, it would have moved ahead and it would not have given much rainfall at all. So it's very, very important for us to understand this. That is, Himalayas act as a shield against the cold winds, and Himalayas also help us to get heavy rainfall from the monsoon as well. So the next important concept that we need to understand is with respect to distribution of land and water. Whenever I am talking about the distribution of land and water, you should be aware that in India, 3 sides is covered by ocean and 1 side you have land. And when we take land and water, I have already explained this, that land, the temperature or sunlight, whenever we say, it doesn't go much deeper. Whereas when we talk about the ocean, it goes much deeper. So less area gets more sunlight and more area gets less sunlight. Due to this, this will be hotter and this will be cooler or cold. So hot means low pressure area, cool means high pressure area. Winds blow from high pressure to low pressure. The meaning of this is winds blow from ocean to land and give heavy rainfall. And it is considered as one of the major factor that in summer, when sun's rays is falling vertically on Indian mass and ocean, Indian Ocean, Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal is much cooler, high pressure is usually observed on ocean and low pressure is observed on land. And this differential heating leads to winds blowing from ocean to land. And the second important thing, in winter, usually land becomes cold faster and ocean becomes cool slower. The reason is most amount of water or water quantity which is holding up the heat is more. When it comes to land, land expels it quickly. Because of this, we usually observe high pressure on land and low pressure on water. So winds blow from high pressure to low pressure, that is, they are blowing from land to ocean. So what does this mean? From land to ocean, whenever the winds blow, moisture is not there, so they don't give rainfall. Distribution of land and water is important. Whenever winds blow from ocean to land, they carry moisture with them and they give heavy rainfall. Whenever they are moving from land to ocean, they don't carry, so they don't give heavy rainfall. Very, very important for us. Next, we need to see distance from the sea. If you take the land, places like Chennai, Visakhapatnam, Mumbai, which are closer to the coast, they get winds blowing from ocean and land, as we have discussed. So whenever this happens, usually if there is extreme high temperature near Chennai, it will be low pressure on land or in Chennai, and high pressure will be there on ocean, winds blow, and this winds normalizes, the temperature will become normal. And whenever you have low temperature, winds blow away and they normalize. So something or the other takes place to ensure that there will be more or less same temperature throughout the year. But when it comes to Delhi or when it comes to Punjab, these are much interior. Here what happens? Winds, when they are blowing from the ocean, when they reach Delhi, by that time it would have lost the significance. So we call this to be continentality. Distance from the sea means if it is away from the sea, we use the term continentality. And what happens in continentality? Whenever it is huge continents, then we see high temperature in summer and lowest temperature possible in winter. But when it is closer to the sea, we observe more or less same temperature throughout the year. So this is very, very important when it comes to distance from the sea. Altitude, as I have already told you in the beginning itself, when we consider Agra and Darjeeling, even though they are located on the same latitude, difference in temperature is clearly observed. Then comes relief, where you should understand that if a place is there on the windward side, they get heavy rainfall. If they are on the leeward side, they don't get much rainfall. Whenever we talk about the climatic factors, we should also consider the factors associated with wind direction as well. Now what we saw is with respect to relief, but now we have to see with respect to air pressure and wind. That is, how exactly pressure difference is there in different times on India, and how exactly wind system or horizontal movement of air is observed during this. One, you have to consider the distribution of air pressure and winds on the surface of the earth. Second, we have to consider the upper air circulation or jet streams. Next, we need to see the tropical cyclones or disturbances which usually take place during this time. So three important things: distribution of air pressure and winds up on the surface of the earth, upper air circulation caused by factors controlling global weather, and third, inflow of western cyclones, generally known as disturbances during the winter season, and tropical depressions during the southwest monsoon period into India, right? So these are very, very important for us. So let us take one after the other every season and try to understand how exactly winds vary in different seasons. First, let us consider the winter season. So whenever I am talking about the winter season, please understand we have to consider the surface pressure and winds. So as you are aware, winter means the sun's rays is falling on Tropic of Capricorn. It is far off from India. So because of this, you will have cold climate present on India. Cold means high pressure, and then warm means low pressure. High pressure to low pressure, whenever winds blow, they usually turn to the right in the northern hemisphere. So these are northeastern winds. See here, in winter months, the weather conditions over India are generally influenced by distribution of pressure in Central and Western Asia. So if you take Tibet or if you take Caspian Sea, even in those regions, it will be cool. A high pressure center in the region lying to the north of the Himalayas develops during winter. See guys, if you take Himalayas or if you take India, if the pressure is 800, if you go above that, that is in Tibet it will be 1000. In polar regions it will be 1500, because winter means polar regions will be extremely cool, Tibet will be cool, and if you take India, it will be less cool. The meaning of this is, if I consider polar will be cold, cool and warm. But when I consider India and Indian Ocean, then India is cool, Indian Ocean is warm. And if I go further down near Africa, Africa will have 400. Can you see that with sun's movement, temperature keeps on increasing, and whenever temperature increases, pressure also varies. So can I say pole has the highest pressure? Then the highest pressure is with respect to this. Now you tell me, if I consider 1500 and 1000, can I say 1500 is high pressure, 1000 is low pressure, winds blow from poles to Tibet? Now when I take Tibet and India, can I say 1000 is high pressure and 800 is low pressure? And then can I say 800 to 600, this is high pressure and this is low pressure? Usually high pressure and low pressure is relative, that is, it changes. So please be careful whenever you talk about high pressure and low pressure. So don't say that highest pressure will be present only here and it will not be present anywhere else. You should ask, what is the condition? What is the amount of high pressure that you are usually observing? So all this is very, very important when it comes to our studies. The surface winds blowing out of high pressure center over Central Asia reaches India in the form of dry continental air mass. Why? It is originating in the continent. Will it have moisture? No. So it is called as dry, originating on continent, dry continental air masses, and it comes and meets in the northwestern part of India where you have high pressure. Sometimes this high pressure may shift on Ganga Valley or middle Ganga Valley, where Bihar and other places will have extreme low temperature during that time. Second important thing we need to observe is with respect to jet stream and upper air circulation. I have already spoken about jet streams. So whenever I am talking about jet streams, I told you that they move from west to east, correct? So whenever the jet stream is actually flowing, you have Tibetan air mass. So usually the jet stream comes and hits the Tibet. One part will move on the northern surface, another one will move below. And here you have Himalayas, here you have Kunlun Shan mountains. So one will move beyond Kunlun Shan, another one will move below Himalayas. So when it is moving below Himalayas, it will be blowing over northern plains of India, and sometimes it is believed that it comes down closer to 25 degrees Celsius. So it is very, very important for us to understand about these disturbances as well. So here we need to read, the variations in the atmospheric pressure closer to the surface of the earth has no role to play in the upper air circulation. The meaning of this is, whatever winds are blowing on the surface has nothing to do with the winds blowing above. Above you are actually seeing some disturbances called as jet streams, westerly winds. These winds blow across the Asian continent at latitudes north of Himalayas, and they run roughly parallel to Tibetan highlands. These are known as jet streams. Once they hit the Tibetan highlands act as a barrier in the path of these jet streams, and the jet streams get bifurcated into two. One of its branch blows to the north of the Tibetan highlands, while the southern branch blows in the eastward direction south of the Himalayas. It has its mean position at 25 degree north. This is what I said. And this influences winter weather in India. And I have told you, along with this, near Mediterranean, there will be low pressure area developed. So this jet stream, while coming from Mediterranean, I told you they carry the moisture and they come and hit the northwestern part. The northwestern India receive rainfall and Himalayas get snowfall. Westerlies and also westerly jet stream bring this. Then, as I explained, they're just talking about western cyclonic disturbances and tropical cyclones. So The western cyclonic disturbances which originate in the Mediterranean Sea are actually brought into India by westerly jet stream, and you know that whenever the winds blow, they blow from high pressure to low pressure. When the winds are coming, the temperature in the northwestern part of India will be a bit hotter. Then we need to understand that tropical cyclones originate at the same time over Bay of Bengal and the Indian Ocean, and they come with high velocity and hit Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Odisha coast, and as this region has high density of population, they create more damage in this region. So, we saw with respect to winter season. Now we have to see with respect to summer season. So next let us take the summer season. So whenever we are talking about summer season, we see low pressure area developed in Tibet, low pressure area developed in northern plains of India, and high pressure is there near Africa or Madagascar. Okay? So, high pressure is there on the sea, Indian Ocean, low pressure is there on land. So, usually we observe southern hemisphere, it moves to the left. Near Africa, at the equator, you usually find all the winds are going and accumulating, and then it starts moving away. So we see first moving in southeast direction, and then it is moving from southwest direction. So we call this to be southwest trade winds. You have already seen this. And why does this happen? This happens because ITCZ, which is the low pressure surface, usually moves northward or shifts northward roughly parallel to the Himalayas between 20° north to 25° north. When this usually happens, we usually observe that the jet stream which we were actually talking, which actually flows, the southern branch of jet stream which was blowing on India, will actually move away. It is believed that when ITCZ shifts northward, the sun's rays and the winds blowing from Indian Ocean into India pushes this jet stream away, and this jet stream usually moves beyond the Himalayas. So this is what we see with respect to summer. So one, the surface is having southwest trade winds and jet streams are usually moving away from the Himalayas. And on the northern plains, there is no jet streams at all. And because of this, there will be low pressure exerted on northern Indian plain, and whenever there is low pressure, then winds from high pressure move and they give heavy rainfall in this region. Usually maritime tropical air mass blows from ocean to land, maritime tropical region till 23.5 degree. Whenever they come, they give heavy rainfall in the India. It crosses equator and moves in southwesterly direction, which is called as southwest monsoon. And when we are talking about jet streams and upper air circulation, I have already told you the jet stream which is there will move away. And a new jet stream called as easterly jet stream flows over the southern part of the peninsula in June. So this easterly jet stream usually carry the moisture containing cyclones which are present in Bay of Bengal towards India. So if you take India, the jet streams are moving like this and they bring some rainfall. In August it is confined to 15° north, and in September 22° north. The easterlies normally do not extend to the north of 30° latitude in the upper atmosphere. Usually most of the winds or jet streams are from west to east. This jet stream is usually occurring from east to west, mainly because of the movement of the ITCZ. So whenever ITCZ shifts, there is a possibility that the jet stream which is moving along this may also move. One reason why this jet stream is formed, people say, near ITCZ we know that the surface winds are blowing in this direction, above it will be opposite. So we never know what exactly is the reason, but this is what people say. Don't try to write it in the exam. You just need to write in exam that in summer we usually observe easterly jet stream originating, right? Easterly jet stream and tropical cyclones. The easterly jet stream steers the tropical depressions into India. These depressions play a significant role in the distribution of monsoon rainfall over the subcontinent. Why? In Bay of Bengal, if you have any depressions formed, they are carried towards India because of these easterly jet streams. Very, very important for us. So you should be able to understand this. And then you have ITCZ, I have already explained you, but still let us see, is a low pressure zone located at the equator where trade winds converge. And so it is a zone where air tends to ascend. So whenever air ascends, if it has moisture, it becomes cool and give heavy rainfall. In July, the ITCZ is located around 20 to 25 degree north latitude over the Gangetic Plain, sometimes called as monsoon trough. This monsoon trough encourages the development of thermal low pressure over north and northwest India, and due to the shift of ITCZ, the trade winds of southern hemisphere cross equator and turn to the right and start blowing from southwest to northeast due to Coriolis force. It becomes southwest monsoon. In winter, ITCZ shifts southward, and so the reversal of winds from northeast to south and southwest takes place. They are called as northeast monsoons. Monsoon, reversal of wind direction, right? So this is what you need to see. Next, we need to observe the nature of Indian monsoon. Before I get into this, I want you to have clarity over what all we read. Just take 5 minutes break and try to revise it. And then again we'll start. After every 40 to 45 minutes, please try to take a break. 11th, 12th standard NCERT books will be going line by line. Example by example is important for us. Every example you should remember. I told you Agra and Darjeeling are in the same latitude, UPSC may give you. Please be careful about this. Fine? So, just go through this. We'll come back and meet freshly again about the nature of Indian monsoon, right?